Bengals, big turnaround for them. Not necessarily a turnaround, but they just haven't ever been able to get over that hump. We saw Joe Burrow last season, absolutely phenomenal, putting up records in losing games.
Yeah, I have them back in the playoffs as the 5th seed. I just think it's going to be hard to win that division, just the way it's stacked. But I do have them being in the 5th seed because this team is just built on offense. The offense is going to have to carry this team. They fired their defensive coordinator last year because they felt like with the offensive production that you mentioned, they couldn't stop anybody. So they bring in Al Golden, and he's going to run a complex defense, but you still have to have the players on defense. And they spent a lot of money this offseason giving Joe Burrow his weapons. And if those guys stay healthy, I think they're going to be an explosive offense. So have them in the 5th spot this year.
The one that stood out to me there was the New England Patriots getting back to the playoffs in the first year for Mike Vrabel there. As we move on to what would be the divisional round, you have the Bengals losing to the Houston Texans and the Chiefs and Bills matching up yet again. What would an Allen Mahomes matchup do for the NFL again?
Well, I think this is a week 1 matchup as well, so whoever loses will have another shot at it in this look. But this is going to be great ratings, and this is 2 of the greatest young quarterbacks in our league right now, and I think this is going to be a highly contested match. And out of this, I mean, I do have the Chiefs winning just because it's Patrick Mahomes, and I never want to be the guy to bet against Patrick Mahomes.
I think that's a fair thing. All right, now let's go to the NFC. How about that? Because you do have the 49ers making the postseason. Look, they were 6-11, and do we just chalk it up to that was just a really weird, bad, injury-riddled season, and now we're going back to normal?
Yeah, you have to. But here's the thing. Here's why I have them making that 6th seed. And I have them in this spot because they technically have the weakest strength of schedule on the season. And so they're going to play a lot of favorable matchups. And I have them making a late push, probably from October on, making a push because coming out of the gate, they have a ton of injuries at the receiver position right now. And Brandon Ayuk, Kyle Shanahan came out the other day and said he may not be ready until week 6. You got Demarcus Robinson that's going to be facing a 3 or 4 game suspension, which now puts Ricky Pearsall Jr., last year's first-round pick, into the fold as the #1 guy. So he's going to have to grow in that role, but you still have George Kittle. You get CMC back. And so it's
if he stays healthy.
And he will stay healthy. But now it forces Kyle to call the game differently until he can get all of his horses back around October, and I think they'll make a push late and make the playoffs.
All right, let's stop screwing around here. Let's get to some picks here as we look at the bracket from Rand Carthon projecting out the season and the playoffs. We've made it to the divisional round now, and let's just start in the AFC with the Texans and the Ravens.
Yeah, I just think this Ravens team as a whole, this is a well-built team, and I always talk about complementary football, one phase complementing the other. And you look at this defense, what they've done, the pieces they've added, and we know what this offense is and what it can be. And so I just think there'll be a little bit too much as a total team for the Texans, so I have those guys moving on.
How about the matchup once again between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen? Oh!
I guess I got it wrong in the previous.
Okay. We've seen that in the regular season where Josh Allen has gotten the best of Mahomes, but in the postseason it usually goes the other way. Why do you think the Bills get it done here?
Or do you?
No, so okay. I'm going back on my original word. I thought I had the Chiefs, but I have the Bills, and I think it will come down to where they're going to play the game. And in this, we have this being a home game for Buffalo, and I just have them winning, and the pieces that they've added on defense. And let's go back. Let's think about what the Eagles did in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. They just rushed 4. They just rush forward, and that's the way Brandon Beane has built this team up front to be able to just rush forward and play coverage behind it. So I have the Bills moving on.
All right, on the other side, you have the NFC. We talked about the 49ers there in the 6th spot, Super Bowl defending champs. The Eagles going up against them, Commanders and Lions. Who comes out of those games?
So I have the Eagles. It's hard to beat the Eagles. It's at home. Those crazy fans at the link, and then there's just this team. This is probably the most well-built team in the league and the returning Super Bowl champions. So I give them the nod. And then when it comes down to the Commanders and Lions, I'm giving Jared Goff and the guys in Detroit the chance. I mean, this backfield, this Sonic and whatever they call those
Knuckles?
two, Sonic and Knuckles instead of Thunder and Lightning. And then Jahmyr Gibbs allegedly has moved to number 0 this year, and so he's one of my favorite players in the league. So I just think they have a little bit too much firepower for the Commanders.
Okay, so it's chalk here based on how you see the regular season going. Now let's get to Championship Sunday, and it's two teams, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, and the Bills, Josh Allen, two teams that are still trying to get over that hump to the Super Bowl. Who gets it done?
I think the Ravens finally get it done. I think Lamar's tired of us talking about him only getting so far in the playoffs. And then just this defense, the way they've built this defense in the secondary, and now it's tied more closely to the front end. I just think the Ravens are going to overwhelm a lot of people this year.
All right, Eagles going back to the Super Bowl again, or the Lions? Can they upset the? Oh,
yeah.
Oh!
Look close. Look close.
Thank you, graphics people.
Look
Damn.
close.
Okay, how does this happen?
So I just think the way the Lions are built and their head coach is just a certain mentality that they're going to have. And let's be real. The Eagles are coming off a very long season. It is very hard to repeat in this league. So they had a long season, a shorter off season, and I think that will ultimately catch up with them at some point. And I have this Lions team, again, another team that's well built in all three phases, and I think they'll find a way to get it done. Dan Campbell will have them clawing, scratching, biting ankles, knees, shoulders, whatever they need to do to get that win, and I think they'll get it.
Super Bowl in San Francisco/Santa Clara. Is it the Ravens for Lamar's first ring or the Lions' first title?
Got to go with the Ravens. Again, got to stay true to what I've said. Lamar gets over the hump. He wins another MVP for the regular season, and he'll win the Super Bowl MVP. He'll be the guy to get them over the top, and he'll finally close that chapter and become a champion and shut all of us up and keep us from talking about him.
It goes with the colors, too. I needed to look up the logo to see if we still match the colors.
Yes, it does. I mean, there's some pink in there, some red as well.
Purple-ish, and there's blue.
I feel like they're starting to add every color of the rainbow.
So we go away from that?
Is that a thing? The Super Bowl logo team?
Heck
Yeah, we talk about it every year. It's
Get
dumb,
out of the front office. Come be with us in the delusional media.
Well, there you see the three guys who will help decide the AFC once again this season: Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes. And our coverage returns September the 7th to CBS and Paramount Plus.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you.
Big news coming out of the NFL. A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
With highlights.
What a finish at the final round of play.
And in-depth analysis.
Can they three-peat? Tony Romo joins the conversation.
What can you say about this game?
When you need your sports in a snap,
we're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
Find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.